Hello, and welcome to the Her Money, Her Business podcast. This is a podcast for women starting or growing their own business and features episodes about knowing your finances, improving your money confidence, as well as guest interviews with women just like you as part of the specialty series Everyday Business Heroes. If you wish you were good with money, want to feel more confident managing your money, or want to struggle less while making money, then you're in the right place. And if you're new around here, this podcast is brought to you by my course Money In, Money Out, that teaches you the basics of managing the money coming in and out of your business. I'm your host, Sonja Balzarolo, business financials coach, bookkeeper, and champion for women who want to be the master of their own financials. Let's get started. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 37, and today's episode is part of the Everyday Business Heroes series. So I'm interviewing today Isabel Chen. Isabel is a Pinterest expert. Part of our Everyday Business Heroes series is to talk to women running small businesses. And so I'm excited to talk to Isabel today, not only about her business journey, but also get some hints and tips for you around Pinterest as well. So a little bit about Isabel. Isabel is a scientist turned digital marketer who helps creative business owners make more sales with powerful Pinterest marketing and simple content creation. After burning out as a marketing team of one in a nonprofit for 4 years, she is passionate now about showing online businesses how to save time while still seeing results with their marketing. So Isabel is about to launch a new course called Illuminate, and this is a Pinterest Academy. So for anyone who is getting started with Pinterest, this is a fantastic way to set up the foundation and then work with Isabel over a 6-week period and really set everything up and get you ready to really be excelling at Pinterest and getting lots of leads and traffic through to your website from Pinterest, which is exciting. Who wouldn't want that? So let's get started and have a chat to Isabel. So thanks for joining me on the podcast, Isabel. I'm excited to have a chat about your business and Pinterest today.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be here and really excited to be talking and sharing more about my business.
Yes, no, it's very exciting. So as I was preparing for our chat today, I had a good look around your Instagram and your new course, which we'll talk about as well, that you're launching at the moment. But I did go down a bit of a rabbit hole, and I ended up on my own Pinterest. And I connected up Instagram because that was one of your suggestions on your Instagram page. There's so many great tips on there. But yes, I sort of went down a rabbit hole. So I spent a couple of hours today just tidying up my Pinterest, connecting the Instagram, getting rid of all the posts that aren't relevant. But it was good because I needed to do it. But anyway, we'll talk a lot about obviously Pinterest and your tips and things around that for small business owners. But I wanted to first just talk about your business in general, because this series that I'm doing on the podcast is the Everyday Business Hero series, and it's about women in business and the ins and outs and things that we can learn from each other. So how did your business journey start working for yourself as a woman in business? Where did you start and how did you end up where you are now?
This is a fairly long story, but let me try to get to the point. So I didn't think I was going to start a business initially. So I used to work in science, and then I did a career change to marketing. And within a couple of months of doing that career change, I managed to secure a social media marketing job in a nonprofit. At first, I really enjoyed it, but about 2 weeks in, COVID happened. And then all of a sudden, I had to do so many tasks because there was no way this organization could contact their peer groups or their customers. Everything was online, everything was digital marketing. So as a team of one, marketing team of one, I should say, I suddenly had to learn how to do email marketing, how to do the messaging, how to write copy that speaks to clients and all those marketing things that so many small business owners do every single day. They even put me into a video production course, so I learned how to create mobile videos as well. I guess just 6 months into it, at first I really enjoyed the job, but 6 months into it, because I was doing video production and social media management at the same time, which is actually it's 2 roles. It shouldn't be the same person doing it. I just felt so exhausted and I burnt out after 3 years. I don't know how I lasted that long, but I had a really great manager at the time, and that's probably why I stayed. And so while I was working there in those 3 years, in my first year, I actually started getting referrals for work, the funny thing was it was coming from my own colleagues who would like speak to people outside work, and then that person would say, oh, I'm looking for some help on marketing, and they would say you should speak to Isabel. And that's how I got like my first few freelancing clients. And yeah, so then I was like juggling this freelance work outside of my full-time regular job at the place, and it was just too much. And then I just thought, okay, I know I enjoy this work because I enjoy the work that I'm doing with my freelance clients, but I don't enjoy the work that I'm doing at this organization just because it's just me and I can't outsource it and I have to do it all. So at the end of 3 years, I was like, I'm pretty sure I can find clients. I'm going to leave. And then, yep, just dove straight into it. But I wouldn't have left if I wasn't like burnt out. If they had hired one more person to help me, I would have stayed because I love that job. I love the people I was working with. It was just not a sustainable workload for one person to handle.
And so what made you choose to start a business rather than just go and find another job?
To be honest, I think I was so burnt out that I just felt like I couldn't trust businesses like big corporates to really care about their people. Because when I left my last job, I was so burnt out. I was like, I don't want to work for someone. I don't want to work for a company. I want to be a freelancer because then I set my own rates. I set the rules on who I want to work with. I can choose who I want to work with, and I don't have to do something just because someone says it's like due that day. Like I can push back. I can say, hey, I can totally do this for you, but because you're asking me to do it last minute, there's a rush fee, like basically things like that. Whereas if I were to join another corporate, I wouldn't get the chance. I would have to do the work myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. I worked for corporate businesses before I had kids and started my own business for, similar reasons, to be my own boss. Yes, you certainly don't have that flexibility in corporate. And this lifestyle we have now, the ability to make our own decisions, what we charge, when we work, who we work with. I love that about being a woman in business. We have the control over all of that.
Yeah.
So, and what do you think the key things are that you've learned along the way in being in business for yourself? What are some lessons you've learned?
Remember to raise your rates to include tax. That's the first thing I learned. Because before I started freelancing full time, I think my rates I didn't consider tax at all because I had that full-time income, like going into my super and then paying the tax for me. So I just forgot that I had to include tax in my own rates. And learned quickly, and then the rates just shot up like triple. So that's the first thing I would say. And then the second thing I would say is try to find a community of other business owners so that you can bounce ideas off each other, because like doing it all yourself is really hard. And I think sometimes we're so focused on our own business, we can't see it from a big picture kind of view. So sometimes we miss things that others might point out, like maybe there's a simple way to promote and offer to your customers and you didn't think of it, but someone else would be able to see that.
Yes, I think everyone I've spoken to so far on this Everyday Business Hero series has mentioned the same thing around that community piece. Absolutely, it's so important. And even just getting tips and ideas, because like you said, even just around the tax and stuff, like how are you meant to know these things?
I know.
If you've only ever worked for other people. So we have to learn so much about business when we first start, that being in a community of like-minded women who are also doing similar to us, building businesses, that's a great way to, you pick up things along the way. Even if someone else asks a question, let's say about tax, and you're like, oh my God, do I need to know about this? And then it sort of goes from there. It just adds to all of your information that we don't necessarily know what we don't know until we see it out there. So
and I guess for me, I am kind of at a stage where I am thinking of hiring someone, but I don't know how to, like, how do you hire someone? Like, how do you do it? How do you pick the right person? So I guess that would be something further down the line that I have to ask someone else about.
Yes, definitely. And that's the thing as well, being in a community too, is that there are, people in the community that you and I are part of the Small Business Growth Club. That's a good example of a great community to be in. And I'm sure that there would be someone in there that has information around all of that. So when you're ready to do it, you go and ask a question and get lots of advice from people who have already done it. So there's lots of benefits of community. So why do you do what you're doing now? So how many years have you been outside of corporate now?
So actually it's only less than 1 year.
Yeah.
So I've been doing social media marketing for this is the 5th year, so at least 4 years now. And then last year, that was when I dove first time, full time into my business.
Yeah.
So it's not even 1 year yet. So I'm still fairly new, but because I've got that background knowledge in marketing from working in the nonprofit, so I know how to do strategies and get results from clients quickly.
Okay. And so why are you doing what you're doing, or what the biggest driver is for you?
So I come from Singapore, like I'm a migrant here. And sometimes I see my dad's in business as well. And I guess like I see a lot of small business owners struggling with marketing. A lot of people do this. A lot of people like put money into ads before even like successfully setting up a community, or like building their brand, or doing like the basic things. It's just they get very disheartened by the result, because eventually, as a small business, you don't have much budget to work with. So when the budget for ads runs out, then you have like nothing to fall back on. And that's when they get a bit disheartened and they don't know what to do, because they haven't set up the fundamentals of their social media marketing, like really nailing down their target audience, or nailing like how does their offer help someone else? Because it's never about trying to sell people. That's where it feels a bit icky. It's more about how can my offer help someone else with their problem? And I guess that's what really drives me, just seeing people like myself trying to make a living, like trying to get the life that they want, and just trying so hard. And I want them to succeed, because if they succeed, it means I've succeeded as well.
Absolutely. No, I get that too. I mean, for me, working in business financials for women in business, doing small business, it's the same thing. It's really seeing that struggle that's out there and wanting to help people succeed and keep going and keep doing what it is they want to be doing, rather than going back to things they don't enjoy.
And also throw down the corporates.
Exactly. Lots more small business. Yeah. And so what about your money journey so far? So are you really hands-on with managing the finances in your business, or?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a household where I had to do like budget reports for my parents since the age of 7. So I am pretty hands-on with my money. And I would say, just because I have been doing that since such a young age, I would say I'm a bit stingy with money. Like I find it takes a lot in me to actually want to spend it. I am basically a dragon. I just like hoard money, and I like seeing that those numbers grow, and I never spend it. And what really helped me change that was I read a book by Ramit Sethi called I think it's called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And there was a line in there that said, look at what you really value the most, and you shouldn't feel guilty about spending money on something that you value. Because to someone else, dropping like maybe 3 grand on a holiday is too much, but to you, because you value travel, 3 grand is nothing. And then see what you can cut out of things that you don't value. So for me, I value like food, experiences, all that. So I guess once I read a book, like there was just a mindset change, and I said, oh yeah, like I can cut out money from here and I can spend more here, and it's not, I don't have to feel guilty, because this money is like my fun money, and because I worked so hard for this, I shouldn't feel guilty about spending it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I might have gone a bit off track here. I forgot your original question.
No, I mean it's all just good information for people out there that can relate to this sort of thing. So does that come into your business, do you think? Do you think you hold back from spending on things that maybe could grow your business?
So I would say that it's helped me try to focus on what would make the biggest impact right now. So about 6 months ago, I invested in a business coach, which was, I would say, the biggest expense I have ever put into my business. But since investing in her, I've seen a big change. I've actually grown. No, in fact, I think I tripled my email list. And then I've actually seen new leads come in. And now it's because like the momentum is building. It's just, in a sense, like just keep doing like what we're already doing. So I've actually signed up with her for another 6 months, and I'm pretty excited about that. But it's a big expense, I would say. It's a big expense. And it just makes me scared that I'm spending that much money, and I might not see a return. But I tell myself, no, I will see a return. I will definitely see a return, because we've already seen like so much growth in these past 6 months.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Is having some sort of confidence that there's a return on the investment. But it's all a learning curve, because I think most business owners in the beginning are reticent to spend any money. They've got the money coming in, but They don't know what's going to happen, how quickly you're going to grow and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a learning curve, even just that part of it at the beginning.
Yeah, what I really was like, yeah, you have to spend money to make money. But try to spend within your means as well. I mean, obviously don't put yourself in debt, like trying to earn money. Yeah, just spend what you can. And then maybe even if you're starting your business as a side hustle, try to like create a safety bank of money first before you actually go full-time in your business. Because that's what I did before I left my job.
Yes, excellent. That's great advice. Absolutely. And so let's talk about Pinterest. So first of all, what is it for people who don't know it or don't use it? What's your explanation of Pinterest?
Okay, so Pinterest, think of it like Google, but it's a visual kind of Google. So if you were searching for Pinterest is really good for creative businesses and for people who want DIY stuff like home renovations. So for example, if you're searching for maybe how to create a bedroom for like how to create a bedroom that's a nursery, you would then go on the Pinterest, type maybe baby nursery ideas, and Pinterest will show you pictures of all the baby nursery ideas that are out there that are posted to Pinterest. And the purpose of Pinterest is basically for people to click into those pins, which is those posts, and then they will then go to the website that is in those posts. So that it's great for bringing people over to a website. So potentially you can make more sales.
I love how powerful it is. And I know there's certain sections of business that are using it, but I think there's definitely lots of people not using it to its full advantage. I love it for the podcast, this podcast as well, being able to drive people back to the podcast. And also, I haven't explored it enough yet, but I definitely think when doing launches for my course and things like that, I think people could definitely use it more for that. And obviously, product-based businesses. Yeah. And so, why do you love working with Pinterest? Because I know as a social media manager, you were doing all the things.
You see, it was because of my previous job in marketing. I was just sick of doing everything for everyone. And last year, that was when I was still offering Instagram last year, Instagram and Pinterest. And this year, I just started to nail down into Pinterest just because Pinterest, anything you post on Pinterest lasts much longer than Instagram. It lasts for months to years. Just with a single post, it can last even longer than Instagram and it can keep driving traffic to your website. Whereas Instagram likes to keep people on the platform. They want people to stay on Instagram and not go off Instagram. Pinterest is totally different. It wants to bring people to results, like to search results, kind of like Google. And together, if you use both of them together, that's when you get the ultimate powerhouse because Instagram is the way where you can build connection with your audience, whereas Pinterest is the way they'll discover you.
And drive that traffic as well. I had another business before this one, like a side business called Creative Soul Mamas. And so that was a very visual business for mums who are creatives. And the Pinterest results that I got from that when I was focused on it was amazing. Just the website traffic and, a couple of posts, or pins went viral and things like that and just got huge amounts of interest and stuff. It is really an amazing tool.
Yeah, and I feel like so many, especially I guess in Australia, I find like a lot of Australian businesses don't know about that potential. I see more Americans and people from the UK reaching out to me for Pinterest help, but not so much Australians, just because they don't know how to use it for business. They just use it for mood boards or for branding and for inspiration.
Yeah, the traffic alone, the driving of the traffic is an amazing thing when you're trying to, like you say in the beginning of your business, when you're looking for organic traffic and trying to really, boost that sort of side of things. It's perfect for that for new business owners. Absolutely. I even noticed today, as I said, I went down the rabbit hole and I was connecting my Instagram to my Pinterest. I even noticed as it was starting to push through the last 90 days of posts or whatever it did, that even some of the posts that I had not yet gone in and updated the descriptions on things were already getting views. More views than those posts. Some of those posts probably even had over on Instagram within minutes of being on Pinterest. So the power of it, it's undeniable. It's something else people should jump onto if it works for their business.
Yeah, and I would say I remember I had someone else tell me she's in the creative space as well. I believe she's an art business coach. And she said that someone discovered her through a pin she had posted 5 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
So she hadn't even put effort into her Pinterest account. She had just pinned some posts 5 years ago, forgot about Pinterest, just fell off the bandwagon, focused more on Instagram. And then she was launching something and someone like signed up for that masterclass and told her they came from Pinterest.
That's awesome. Yes, I totally agree with that difference you mentioned between Instagram and Pinterest. I think that's a good thing to point out as well. And so what do you think the biggest superpower is of Pinterest for small business owners?
It's because you don't have to create new content. You are simply repurposing what you already have. So when I say not creating new content, it means not creating a totally new reel. And now with the new connect to Instagram feature, you can just automatically pull all your reels across to Pinterest. It automatically publishes it. But also if you've written any blog post or any podcast, what you can do is you just create I call it a graphic because Pinterest is very visual. It needs a graphic before it lets you post anything. So you just create a graphic for that blog post or that podcast, and then you can pin it to Pinterest and it drives traffic to that blog or podcast. I don't know about you, but I find it so much easier to create a graphic than to write a whole new caption or to write like a whole new blog article.
Absolutely, yeah, so much. And yes, like that was perfect today for me when I connected Instagram and it pulled all the
posts. Like, oh, everything just went over.
Just had to go through and change the descriptions and I created a board for certain things and stuff, fixed up some of the web links and stuff. And then, I've got like 100 new posts or something on there. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing is it's more forgiving than Instagram because I have all those posts that put through from my Instagram as well. I haven't even gone through all of them yet. So some of that is still my Instagram links, Instagram caption, but they're getting views. And, people are just going to still keep seeing it over the next couple of months. So there's no rush to go and immediately change everything. It's not like a reel that suddenly goes viral. And then if you miss something or you made a mistake in your caption, you feel like really stressed out and you're like, I'm going to change this now. Pinterest is more slow. It's more slow and more relaxed.
And so what would your 3 top tips be for someone who wants to start on Pinterest? Like where should they start?
Number 1, make sure you already have content because if you don't have content to work with, you won't be able to get onto Pinterest. The second thing would be don't be impatient because I see people who come to me and they said, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I don't get any traction on Pinterest at all. And I asked them, how long have you been pinning? And they said 2 weeks. And that's not going to cut it. So Pinterest takes about 3 to 6 months for you to even see any traction. It's not like Instagram where suddenly something just goes viral. Sometimes you'll just be posting stuff to Pinterest and you'll see maybe you'll get like 1 view, 2 view. But if you look at it over a time period of 3 months, you can then see like which ones are doing well and then double down those ones that are getting more views. And eventually hopefully some of those views will convert to pin clicks. So that means people have clicked onto the pin. And then from those pin clicks, some people might then click over to your website. And it doesn't matter about the followers. So for most cases, it doesn't matter how many followers you have because remember that this is based on search results. So it's more important to use words in your description that your customers would search for rather than trying to focus on growing your followers on Pinterest.
Yes, because I guess if that's the case, then your pins are still seen by other people because it's about the searching of the words. So it's not like Instagram where your followers are the only ones who see generally your posts. Your pins could be seen by anyone who searches up your keywords if you're using them.
Or it could be seen by anyone who then saves your pin to their board.
Okay.
Kind of like, that one's kind of like Instagram, like the share function, because when someone shares your post, then more people can see it. So the save function on Pinterest, it's kind of like the share function on Instagram.
And obviously in the back end, there's some stats there that people can use. Like you say, if you're 3 months in and you want to see what's popular, there's obviously plenty of stats there for people to look at.
Yeah, there's also a section called Pinterest Trends, but I won't really go into that because that's more like advanced strategy level. So it's kind of like a tool that helps you predict what keywords are going to be popular around certain times of year. So if you're selling, like say if you're selling maybe wedding cakes, there's will be a certain season where more people are having weddings, like wedding season. So if you type wedding cakes into that Pinterest trends too, it'll then show you like which months have more people searching for that particular word. And then like you have to start pinning wedding cake related content before those months hit. So you can actually plan ahead.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really, when I was using it properly before in my last business, I really valued the stats that you could see. There was just so much information. And are there any misconceptions, do you think, about Pinterest that are out there that may be stopping business owners from using it?
I guess it would be people think it doesn't work, but that's just because they haven't given it enough time. They give up after 1 month and
Yes.
I think they just expect it to be like Instagram and then they just give up. So they'll be go, go, go. The first month they'll be like, oh, I want to post every single day, multiple posts. And then in 1 month they don't see any traction and they just like give up. And maybe they might come back like 2 years later when the pin like just sticks off and they say, oh, I didn't know that was going to take off. I gave up too early. So I think that's one common misconception. The other misconception I would say is some people they treat it like social media, but really it's not. It's more like a search engine. So they don't really use those keywords in their caption, and then they might be posting a meme which gets a lot of views, but then what's the purpose? It doesn't drive traffic to your business. It's not like relevant to a product that you have on your business page.
Do you think it's useful as well for like freebies? So lots of business owners would have freebies. Is that useful to have that sort of content on there as well?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because I post my freebies on Pinterest, and some of the traffic that comes that comes into my freebie page, they are from Pinterest. Like I check my website stats, and actually Pinterest is my number one driver of traffic right now to all my freebie pages.
That's also handy when you're a Pinterest coach as well.
Oh yeah, that's true. People might be searching on Pinterest for Pinterest information, but really most of my clients come from Instagram because since I'm a Pinterest coach, most of them wouldn't even be on Pinterest yet. So that's why I tend to focus slightly more on Instagram. And then for my own Pinterest, what I'm doing is actually I'm testing new features, testing different things so I can teach my clients what's the best practices.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean, I need practice what I preach. I can't just like teach this while I'm doing Pinterest at all.
Yes. Yeah. And I'd imagine like the other social media channels, new things pop up all the time, new features and new ways of doing things. So and that's good that, you know, in being an expert in it, that you're totally focused on being ahead of the curve and knowing what's coming and knowing what's new and all that sort of thing. So working with you, I imagine people get the inside knowledge of what's happening.
Yeah. And also they get to understand how to do things effectively, like social media manager secrets, Pinterest manager secrets. Like I didn't realize how many people didn't schedule posts until I was talking to some of my clients and they were posting on the day itself. And I just told them, I said, do you know you can schedule it? And they said, I didn't know I could schedule things.
And so speaking of scheduling, are there any tools that you suggest for people to schedule, or can you can't schedule natively, can you, in Pinterest?
You can on Pinterest. Okay. I can't remember what the section was, but I think there's like a plus sign. I know on the phone it's a plus sign. If you tap that, it says create pin, and then under the create pin section, there should be like one of those views where it says you can pick a date and pick a time. And you can schedule on desktop as well. I prefer working on desktop. So you can schedule it natively, but there's also another app called Tailwind, and that one's good for Pinterest.
I think I've used Tailwind before.
Yeah, it's free. I believe it's free for up to 20 pins. Right. So you can pin like 20 pins a month for free.
Yeah. Yes, obviously scheduling, we've got enough to do. And I think people also have the reticence of adding another social media channel to their list. So if they can have scheduling and things, obviously that's going to make that easier as well. But I think also what you mentioned earlier about, you know, this is more about sharing content you already have. So that should give people, you know, the confidence as well that you're not having to create brand new stuff all the time, that you're literally resharing things. And yes, if you've got Canva, then it's so easy to just change an Instagram post into a Pinterest pin in 2 seconds. And so
you just have to resize it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's probably 2 key things, I think, for people that are a bit reticent about adding a channel is scheduling and being able to easily repurpose content on there. Yeah. So tell us about your new course that you are launching at the moment.
Yes. Okay, I'm super excited about this course. It's more than a course. It is an academy because for this round, since it's a new offer, I am also doing live coaching, like live group coaching every single week as the modules get drip fed out. So we have 6 modules. It will teach you the foundations of Pinterest, like, you know, how to create a pin, that sort of stuff. But it's more for bringing people to go from a Pinterest beginner to a Pinterest pro over 6 weeks. Obviously, like you need more practice, you can't just expect to know everything in 6 weeks, but it's just to build that confidence in business owners. This round, it's for e-commerce business owners and for people who sell products, and to build that confidence for them to start repurposing their content over the Pinterest in less than 30 minutes a day. We are focusing on Pinterest, but as well as Pinterest, I am also inviting some guest experts to provide trainings about selling through other platforms. So we have, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to share her name yet because she hasn't confirmed it, but I'll say we have one person who confirmed she's happy to provide a training about selling through Instagram stories. And that's also like another way where I've gotten a lot of my clients is through Instagram stories. So I'm sure like her training will be super beneficial. Yeah. I've also reached out to an expert who's going to teach us about AI, how to use ChatGPT to help you repurpose content quickly. Yeah. And there's a bunch of other people I'm in talks with as well. So it's not just about Pinterest. The focus will be about Pinterest and AI, but it's more about how to get you making more sales online in less time, really. That is the whole concept.
Yeah, and who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I forgot to mention that because this is new, I'm offering like lifetime access to all the trainings. So the live component will run for 6 weeks, but all the video trainings, you'll get lifetime access to it.
And is this something that in the future you think won't have live components? It'll be like an evergreen course? Is that the plan?
I guess for now I'm not really sure because I'm waiting to see who's going to sign up, and then I'm just trying to, I guess for the first round it's more trying to like work out the kinks, trying to get feedback on how I can improve it. Yeah. And then I'll make a decision. I'll make a decision. But if they don't join now, then the most likely time we relaunch this again is next year.
So people need to hop in now.
Yeah. Yes. So if you're an e-commerce business owner, or if you're a product-based business owner, hop in now.
And can that be digital products or physical products or both?
Both. I would say both. With digital products, it's a bit tricky because they won't be able to use a feature that I'm going to talk about in the trainings. Okay. Yeah, but we can still work through that. We can use another method.
And because this podcast is, obviously this episode is going to be out for a while, what are the dates that people have to join between?
The doors are actually open right now. Okay. But the course officially starts on Monday, the 20th of May.
Okay.
And that's when our first coaching call starts as well. If you're listening to this after the 20th of May, don't worry, just send me a DM if you're interested, and I'll see if I can like put you into the course. If we're not too far in, obviously you can join, but you might miss a couple of coaching calls.
Okay, perfect. All right. So if we're anything up to around the 20th of May and people are listing in 2024, then they can jump on. So we'll put all the links and everything to both contact you plus the links for the course, etc., in the show notes, so anyone can jump in there and do that. So what's your last piece of advice around Pinterest before we wrap up, do you think?
Get on to Pinterest. Australian business owners, get on to Pinterest. You're missing out so much. I don't even need to say this for the Americans and for the people in the UK. They know it. They're on there. They have told me that is their number one driver of traffic. Like I had someone I used to work with this wedding invitation business from Portugal. She said she didn't even want to focus on Instagram anymore because it was draining her energy, and her number one website traffic driver was Pinterest. Yeah.
Yes. No, there's no denying the benefits of it. I think everyone should be checking it out and seeing that it works for their business or not. But I mean, who wouldn't want to drive traffic to their website? You'd be mad not to, really, I think.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here and chatting to me. It's been great having you on the Everyday Business Heroes series, and I look forward to hearing how your course goes and how your launch goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. I'm excited to hear this episode when it comes out.
Absolutely. This episode was brought to you by my mini course, Money In, Money Out. Head over to the website, blossomingbusiness.com.au, for this episode's show notes under podcasts. And if you're ready to stop flying blind and tackle those finances, then sign up and get started on the Money In, Money Out course. So for still being here and being a podcast listener, you can use the discount code MIMO15 and get 15% off the course. So that's MIMO, number 1 and number 5, MIMO15. So you've been listening to the Her Money, Her Business podcast with me, Sonja Balzarolo. If you've enjoyed this episode, please also head over to iTunes and leave us a review. It really does help to get the podcast out to more people, and I love hearing your feedback. So thanks for listening. Here's to knowing your finances and growing your business, because it's your money and your business.